In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, to whom we all have to turn back. Honourable listeners and respectable audience, you know that we have started a series of linguistics and we have covered the first chapter. It was about the origin of language, that how language was originated, how language was developed. After that, we started the next chapter, and it was about human and animal language. Previously, we talked about the 5 properties of the language of human beings, such as displacement, productivity, duality, arbitrariness, and cultural transmission. Now, listeners and audience, today our topic is talking to animals. The mentioned properties, as I talked about before, the 5 mentioned qualities of human beings make the communication system of human beings unique. These are 5 properties which differentiate and distinguish human beings from other creatures. That human beings, they have these 5 properties which enable human beings to organize, reorganize, to manipulate, and to make words and produce different signals and sounds, and also to coin and invent new words and vocabulary in open class. Now, there is a general question in my mind and maybe at your mind, and that question is, how do other creatures seem in the light of these properties? How do other creatures seem in the light of these properties that can other creatures understand our language? This is the question. Answer to this question is very simple. And answer is that in the light of these properties, it would extremely seem unlikely and different that other creatures, they will not be able to understand the language of human beings. If we talk about in the light of these 5 properties. But now, if we ask generally and commonly from human beings that what do you think, what is your opinion and your point of view about the language of human beings, that do animals understand the language of human beings? So most of the people, they would reply yes, but the answer is no. Let me talk about some strange examples from our Pashto language that you may know the answer well. As I answered already, that in the light of these properties, it is already clear and visible and manifested that other creatures, particularly animals, they do not understand the language of human being. But from the common response of the people, they will say that Animals, they understand the language of human being. How? Generally, you see, we share different words with animals, and sometimes they respond and show different behaviors. And the common people answer is that animals follow what human beings say. Animals follow what human beings command and utter. Take few examples from Pashto language. It is maybe from standard variety of Pashto language, that is Yusufzai contact, Yusufzai dialect, or that may be from low variety. Let's take examples from low variety. You know, take the example of a dog. If you want to shoo away a dog, so in Pashto language we use a special word for that shooing away the dog, and that is Quaresha. So this Quaresha in English language means go away. But if you want to shoo away other animal by the dog, so then again you are addressing to the dog and say, To Nisa. To here mean oh dog, and Nisa mean catch that particular animal. So to Nisa mean catch that particular animal which you are referring to the dog. And there are so many interesting examples in Pashto language which we use on the daily basis. Take the example of a donkey or of a horse. If you want to quicken and overspeed a horse or a donkey, you say hurry or harisha, which means go quickly. Take the example of a goat. There are two varieties. Some people say, if you say to a goat that shoo away or go away, you say in Pashto language, kichisha or kachisha. Connected to this, take the example of a hen. If you want to attract the hen toward yourself, that the hen or other hens, they come together or they gather towards you because we have some grains for them, some food for them. So you cannot call them like human being, but you are using particular terms and words. I'm speaking about Pashto language. For example, we use ti. So this ti means come, or come on. And related to this, there are so many other examples, but I share with you some of them. Now what do they show? What can we infer now? What we can derive and deduce from all these examples? Now, sure, we treat these examples as evidence, as arguments, as proofs that non-humans, like particularly animals, they understand human language? Again, the answer is no. The standard explanation is that the animal produce a particular behavior and responds to particular sound or noise, but does not actually understand the language of human beings. When human beings they are calling the animals they do not understand the language of human beings, but they only show and produce different behaviors to the calling, to the voices, to the words of human beings. So either they stop, either they go. This is the answer. Now, you may take another example, and the example is about other creatures. For example, if you talk about the variety of animals, that can animal understand the language of each other, or do one species of animal understand the language of the same species? Answer to this question is yes. One species of language understand the language of the same species, but one variety or one species of one variety does not understand the language of other variety of animals. It means that if they are from different species. What does it mean? It means ants can understand the language of another ants, but ants they do not understand the language of other animals like crow, cow, etc. And scientifically, it is proved and it is clear and it is true that one variety understand the language of the same variety of animals. And scientifically, it has been proved in research. Particularly, I was reading the article related to Islam and modern science, and it has been clearly written and proved that one variety of animals understand the language of the same variety, and specifically the research was taken about the ants, that ants understand the language of another ants. And I think it will be more clear when we talk about the language of ants from the source, from the religious point of view. You know, in the Holy Quran there are so many anecdotes have been mentioned that we derive a lesson for us, that we derive a lesson for them. And one of these stories is the story of the prophet or anecdote of the prophet Solomon or prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam. That when prophet Solomon or prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam, he was nearing to the valley of ants. So one of the ants, known as the queen ant, addressing to another ants. And what was saying? It was saying that it was actually commanding to other ants. It has been mentioned very beautifully in the Holy Quran in Surah An-Naml that the queen ant said to another ants, قالت نملة The one of the ants said, Ya ayyuhan naml, O ants, udkhulu masakinakum. You enter your dwelling, your place of dwelling. Why? لا يحطمنكم سليمان وجنوده. Lest Sulaiman alayhi salam and his army crush you. وهم لا يشعرون. And they will not understand. They will not know. Here وهم لا يشعرون mean they will not know, they will not aware about you. So here, these words of the Holy Quran, which is in Surah An-Naml, one ant is talking and addressing to other ants, and it clarifies that one ant understands and knows the language of other ants. But we already talked about that one variety of animals understand the language of the same variety of animals, but one species of animals, they do not understand the language of other species, like horse and cow. They do not understand the language of each other. For example, if you place or you send or keep two animals, one is horse and another is a bull, in a separate place or in one field. So the horse will not produce the sound of the bull or ox, like moo or moo. So this is already clear. Now, listeners and audience, there is a very strange point of view which I am going to share with you, and that is a religious point of view. What is a religious point of view? If you ask generally from the people, they will talk about that yes, animals, they understand the language of human beings, because Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam, he understood and aware about the language of animals and other creatures. So there are very simple answers. One answer is that Allah Almighty, he taught Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam about the language of animals and other creatures. So that's why he understood the language of them. And another answer is that it was the miracle of Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam, which was granted to him by Almighty Allah. It means Allah Almighty, he granted this miracle to Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam, that he used to talk to animals and even understand the language of animals. So he talked to animal miraculously. Sorry. And particularly, it has been mentioned again in the same surah, the same chapter, and Surah An-Naml, that one day when the Prophet Sulaiman when he was with his army, he did not find the hoopoe bird or hudhud. So he got angry that if I did not find the hoopoe bird, and if it came late, then I will slaughter it, I will slay it, until and unless it come to me with a clear argument and proof. So when the hoopoe bird arrived, Prophet Sulaiman asked question, And the Hoopoe bird addressed to Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam that actually it was late yaqeen that I have brought to you a news from Sabah city, and it is a sure news, authentic news. So this verse of the Holy Quran clarifies that Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam used to understand the language of animal, and he also used to talk to animals. But as I mentioned before, this was the miracle of Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam. And generally, animals, they do not understand the language of human beings, but they use some behaviors and signals which either stop them and which either to show some behavior and actions. So listeners and audience, hope that this topic is clear to you. Inshallah, in the next topic, we will try to share some experiments about other animals, that how they used to learn some words and vocabulary of human language, but still we will reach a conclusion that again they are not able to know completely about the language of human beings because of the 5 properties which we have mentioned before. Thank you.